Hello, and welcome to another exciting edition of Hidden in the Universal Vault. I'm Ron, your host, and I'm welcoming you to my review of Loving. Yes, we are taking a look at the film called Loving from 2016. This is actually released by Focus Features. So, yeah, Loving is a movie that stars Joel Edgerton and Ruth Naya? I probably butchered that name wrong. Not Naya? We'll just say Naya for the sake of this. I'm probably getting that all wrong. So anyways, yeah, Loving is a movie, like I said, has Joel Edgerton and Ruth Naya. I'm probably going to get that wrong. So anyways, so the movie actually, let me read what the plot is on the back. In 1958, in the state of Virginia, the idea of interracial marriage was not only considered to be immoral to many, it was also legal. When Richard, Joel Edgerton, and Mildred, Ruth Niga, I'm just going to say Niga, I'm probably getting that wrong, correct me if I'm wrong, fall in love. They are aware of the eyes staring at them and the words said behind their backs. It is when they get married. However, that words and looks become action, and the two are arrested. The couples decide to take their case all the way to the Supreme Court in order to fight for their love in this passionate and gripping drama that critics call it a masterpiece. So yeah, Loving is a movie. Let's actually talk about Loving. So Loving is a movie, I'm going to tell you right now, this is a masterpiece. It's a phenomenal movie. If you do not know this story, what I said on the back basically is they were a couple who got arrested just for being married. And back in 1958, it was considered a crime. You were not allowed to do that. So the Lovings decide that they're going to try to become a family. So they get married in 1958. And she's pregnant with their first child. So she's locked up, he's locked up, and basically he spends one night in jail, and the cops just let him go, sign a paper. Back in those days, all you did was just sign a paper. It doesn't go on your criminal record. You don't have to pay a fine. You just sign and you're let go. I don't know how that worked back then. And you pay, basically, he only had to pay $35. Which back in 1958 was pretty pricey. Nowadays, if you were to get arrested, it would cost you a hefty price of maybe $100, maybe $1,000, $100,000, $32,000, just depending upon the crime you did. So now he wants to bail his wife out, but then all of a sudden the cop is like, "You dare to try to do that again, we will arrest you." The cops ain't gonna play crap. So now her father pays for her bail to get her out. So now he decides, we're going to get a lawyer and we're going to take you to court. So now they're trying to find a way to pass to get this bill done. Basically, the bill was the Lovings versus Virginia. So they take on the state of Virginia. And it's sort of like this story. It's sort of like a slice of life story. It's sort of like a coming of age story. It could be one of those two, but Loving really does things different. So now they're raising a family. She gives birth to the first child, then they have another child and another child. So basically they basically have 4 children in total in the film. So it goes through each year. So it starts in 1958, then we jump ahead to 1964, then we jump to 1967 where the bill has been passed. So, it's a very heartwarming story. It's not an easy movie to watch. And the performance from both Joel Edgerton and Ruth Naga. I hope I'm hoping not get a YouTube strike on that word. But I have a hard time pronouncing her last name. But the performance-wise, it's just, for both of them, is just stellar. The story comes in full swing and the cops play no game. They keep coming after them too. They both get arrested again, then they don't get arrested. Then they get arrested again, then they don't get arrested. So it's sort of like, they're like, no, enough of this crap. So Mildred is trying to writes to Robert Kennedy. So Robert Kennedy hires these lawyers. I've got to read the rest of the cast. So the movie also has Marta Ron Koskin, Nick Kroll, and Michael Shannon. So those are the rest of the cast in this. So Nick Kroll plays the other lawyer, and I forget who the actor plays the lawyer. Basically, they were lawyers under Attorney General Robert Kennedy. So she writes to Bobby Kennedy saying, look, can you help us out here? So Bobby Kennedy was touched by this and said, sure, I'll get you some lawyers. These are the best in the business. So he hires these guys to go down and help Mildred and Richard to basically get this bill passed. So yeah, they get the bill passed. Yeah, I'm not going to give much away, but if you know the whole story, they're trying to get this bill passed. It's really, like I say again, it's really hard to get a bill passed. You got to go through steps to get a bill passed. It may take a week, it may take a whole month, it could take a whole year. With this bill, it took about 4 years to get this bill passed. And it also is, like I said before, feels like a slice of life film. It shows you what the Lovings do and what the Lovings they grow their family, and just it's very, very sad, and just it's very touching. I love Loving, and Virginia was the first state to get this bill passed. So look up this bill, read about this. It's very, very. I never even heard of this. I never even heard of the Lovings versus Virginia bill that they passed until I watched this movie. Also, the movie, I forgot to mention who directed this. The movie is directed by Jeff Nichols, his previous film was Mud with Matthew McConaughey. And he just directed another Focus Features film that came out 2 years ago, The Bike Riders. I don't have that movie, so I do want to see The Bike Riders, but I don't have that. He also directed Joel Edgerton in Midnight Special, which the cast is great. Also, this movie, interesting enough, these movies are actually produced by Colin Firth. And speaking of Colin Firth, I got a Colin Firth movie coming up next week that I'm going to cover on the channel. So, yeah, I've only seen Colin Firth as an actor, but I never actually seen him ever produce a movie. So, I was like, Colin Firth produced this movie? And I watched some of the featurettes. The one I watched on here was Loving v. Virginia, which is how that story happened. So, I did watch all special features. There's one on Virginia, which they filmed this in the state of Virginia and Bowling Green. So most of the movie was shot in that state and Bowling Green, Virginia. So this was shot on location. I also love the automobiles in this. So the automobiles, the clothes. Like when I reviewed Catch Me If You Can, when I did review the movie Catch Me If You Can, which was also another movie that was also a true story about another person that was set in the 60s. This was tough to say whether I did. I will tell you right now, I thought Catch Me If You Can. I thought Catch Me If You Can was a better movie, but this is still great. This is still going to be what I'm going to rate it, just like I rate Catch Me If You Can. I'm still going to rate this, but performance-wise, great performance. Nick Kroll, like I said, he was the voice of Gunther the Pig in the 2 Sing movies for Illumination. And Joel Edgerton is great. The other movie I covered on the channel was The Gift, which he directed, and he wrote that. Oh, I forgot, Jeff Nichols also wrote this movie as well. So I thought this is kind of a companion piece to Mud. This director seems to like to do movies centered around the South. Bike Riders is another one centered around the South. And Mud was also centered around the South. So this director likes to do Southern movies. Or this is a movie I would easily say that I think law students And if you're taking, I think high school students should learn about this, and law students should also learn about this because it's a very fascinating story. Like Catch Me If You Can, Loving is also another fascinating story, but this is more true, and I will say this is very powerful. I think I already mentioned everything about it, but yeah, I'm going to highly recommend you check out Loving. Loving is a movie that I feel is so good, so great. For a Focus Features film, as I said, sir, it's clearly original. And this movie is a true story. This is a movie that needs to be seen by everybody. This movie right here has officially qualified into my 10 best list at the end of the year. It is that good. It was really hard. I contemplated going back and forth. Am I going to put this on my best list? Is it going to be in honorable mentions? But whatever list it goes, I'm going to put it there. And it's one of the best movies I watched this year. Joel Edgerton should have gotten an Oscar nomination. It's very hard to watch at times, guys. But it's a great history lesson to learn about. If you like to learn about bills being passed back in the day. And it ends very, very tragic at the end. So there is a prologue. I'm not going to tell you how that is. You just got to watch it for yourself. So check out Loving. It's really, really good to watch. So let's go ahead and rate this right now. I'm going to give Loving an automatic 5 out of 5. This obviously was the best movie, and it's great. It has a powerful story. It has Oscar caliber performances. It has a setting that I love the most, the 1960s. It's set in a tumultuous time in history. The history should not be erased. And like I said again, I've never even heard of this until I saw this movie. And then I did more research on this going into this movie that at first I didn't even know was even a true story. I thought it was just going to be a love story set around the South. But when I heard this was a true story and just with performances that are great, both of them are good. Joel Edgerton, Ruth Naya, I still butchering that last name. That's such a bizarre last name. She was also in World War Z, which is a movie I've seen before. She was also in that movie, which I didn't even know until I looked on the back of the DVD. And it's just, do yourself a favor, dude. Do not sleep on Loving. Phenomenal movie, great movie, and I highly recommend watching this if you want a good history lesson. It's a great history lesson. It's also a powerful story, and just has to be seen to believe. And check out this movie as well. It's great. So that's my review of Loving. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you do like the content of the channel, you can like, comment, subscribe, click the bell, ring the bell to get all my video notifications so you don't miss out on any videos I post online, especially on YouTube. I'm also on Letterboxd, guys, so you guys can check me out there. So I think that's all I'm going to say about this movie. Trying to think of anything else. I got tons of videos on there. Just go to the channel, check out the stuff I get. Check out the stuff I post on there. Tons of Universal videos, Vlog City videos. And go check out Loving. A great movie that don't sleep on Loving, guys. Sorry about that. Do not sleep on Loving, guys. This is a great movie from start to finish. So, yeah, and that's it. And as always, keep watching those Universal movies, and I'll catch you guys next time. Bye.